There's an old adage that says old too soon and smart too late. I think that that's probably true for most of us. Although I find that sometimes, even in our youth, we're smart way too late. Number of years ago, I was sitting in an office of a little church in Lake Park, Florida. Some young people, probably in their 20s, early 20s, were getting ready to leave the church to join another church where the doctrine said that you could live above sin. That is, you could go through life without sinning. And as we questioned them about this doctrine, Lake Park, Florida is very close to the beaches of Riviera Beach and Palm Beach Shores. And as we were sitting there in the office had a window that looked out on the sidewalk, and some young ladies went by in very skimpy bikini bathing suits. These three young husbands almost broke their necks turning around to look at them. But not just once, two or three times before they got out of the field of view of that window. It was all that I could do to keep from laughing, because here they sat saying they could live above sin, and yet they almost broke their necks taking a look at these young ladies going by in their bikinis. Truth of the matter is, Jesus said that if you even look at a woman with lust in your heart, you're guilty. And we all know that we can't live above sin. Sin is anything that's displeasing to God. And it's hard to get through a day without doing something that's displeasing to God. A thought, a look, an attitude. It's really easy to sin. And one of the worst things that we can do in our lives is to think that we're perfect. Now, there's a paradox here that I want to go into in just a minute, but the fact that we think that we can be perfect, that we have all of the answers, we don't need anybody else, no other advice or counsel, that we always think things through perfectly, that's a terrible mistake. And none of us are that smart, and none of us are that righteous that we can live perfect lives and always have all of the perfect answers and not need any counsel from God or from others. 1 John 1:8 says, if we claim to be without sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. Now, why would God have recorded that in the scriptures for us? If we claim to be without sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. It's very, very difficult to live without sinning. However, let me tell you the paradox side of that. When Christ and his Holy Spirit enters into our lives, God no longer sees our sin, but he sees the sinlessness of Jesus. So we have the fact that we are, in God's eyes, without sin, and yet in man's eyes and in practicality, we can't live above sin or without sinning. And so there is a paradox there. We have the righteousness of Christ dwelling in us. God overlooks our sin because Jesus paid for our sin. But that doesn't mean that we should stop trying to be as perfect as we can be. And it doesn't mean that we should go around saying that we're perfect or thinking that we can do everything perfectly ourselves without any of God's counsel or man's counsel. So let's remember 1 John 1:8. If we claim to be without sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.